Hi there, and thanks for coming along. My name is Octavian Zero, and this is my series 100 Casts. Specifically, it is episode 32 of my series 100 Casts, in which I will be casting over 100 games of League of Legends sent to me by fans and friends. So, I hope you guys enjoy it. Hey there guys, Octavian Zero here, and this is going to be Shoutcast number 32 in the 100 Cast series. I believe it was sent in to me by the Twitch from Purple Team, and according to the email, it promises to be an interesting match, so we'll see if it lives up to the email's hype or not. Hopefully it does. It's always fun to cast a match with a lot of action, as we see the beginning of some of the action here, actually. Thresh has found Talon out in the jungle, tossed an auto attack onto him, and took a rake for his trouble, but that seems to be all that's gone on here. Well, perhaps Xerath wants a bit more. He throws out an auto attack as well. This Talon taking a few hits, does not manage to sidestep the Q, gets hit by another auto, but he gets away from the enemy team here. But it looks like blue team wants a bit more blood. They might be going for a furthered engage here. Yeah, they're looking to go for an invade. They find Nami off to the side. Thresh throws out the hook. It connects. That is a hooked fish. She's going to have to flash away here if she wants to live. I'm fairly sure she gets flashed after, then exhausted. She tosses out Ebb and Flow for the heal. Flashes very nicely to avoid the Q from Xerath at max range. And that is Nami's flash down, though I believe a flash and an exhaust were burned on blue side. Both from Thresh, actually, so the bottom lane for blue side going to be down a little bit in terms of summoner spells. Well, down one in terms of summoner spells, seeing as Nami did not have to use her exhaust. But yeah, it looks like the blue buff going to be stolen away here by blue team, but Vladimir has invaded and dropped a ward, along with Jarvan on the enemy team's blue buff as well. So purple team might be able to answer back by stealing away blue team's blue, as we see that Udyr takes down the buff, and Talon is ambushing this Xerath in the bush. He's gotten a bunch of damage down onto him. The rake already used, so he doesn't have that slow to keep following. Is now Jarvan getting attacked by the Wukong. Wukong drops Ignite, flashes after the Jarvan's flash. Can Wukong catch up in time? He does have E skilled up, so he's going to be able to dash after him and finally finish him off with that auto attack. First blood going over to the Monkey King up in top lane. And Xerath did manage to escape. I mentioned that because the camera swapped away. Xerath did manage to get away. He lost about half of his health doing so. So he did come out the worse for the wear in that trade, but he has some health potions. He'll be able to run those. And finally, now that there's a moment of quiet, 2.5 minutes into the game rather than just like 10 seconds or so, I'll get into some of the matchups. Down in bottom lane, we have the Thresh versus Lucian, and while Thresh does have neither of his summoner spells up, it looks like he's going aggressive. They got the early level 2, lands the flight, and then the hook, and Nami does not have flash up. She does have the Twitch around to heal her, though, and now Lucian is in a ton of trouble. He has the poison ticking, fully stacked. Is he going to go down to this? It runs out. No, it gets reset by the cask, by the venomous or poisonous cask, whichever one it was. I forget. I apologize. As Thresh very nicely sidesteps the bubble, but his AD carry already went down. No amount of sidestepping is going to undo that. Very, very well played by the Twitch. I didn't think he was going to get it, honestly, but he hit him with the very, very edge of that W. As in mid lane, Xerath actually forced to use Barrier as Talon goes in aggressive once again. This Talon keeps chunking down the Xerath. To be fair, he's lost a good amount of health himself, but he does have the mana advantage. While with Xerath's new passive, he can bring himself back up to a decent amount of mana pool pretty much whenever he needs to. It's not as reliable as just having mana, but there's Wukong getting ganked on by the Jarvan. He does manage to avoid the knockup from the Flag and Drag. He's running back towards the turrets, dashes to the minions. He made some good distance, but it's in the wrong direction. Doesn't actually go down. The minions, not quite enough damage. He might be able to get the execute here. Can he do it? Is he? No, he hadn't been far enough away from the damage ticks from the Vladimir's Tides of Blood. And so Wukong gives the kill back over to Vladimir. Very valiant try there. It was a moral victory, really, for the Monkey King, but that does give a kill back over to his laning opponent, and so now they are even in terms of kills, and Vladimir has a slight CS lead, so that's really going to be annoying for Wukong. That matchup is no fun to play as a melee champion, pretty much in general against a Vladimir. He just has so much good harass, and whenever you try and engage on him, unless you bring him down really low or kill him, I'm interrupted by the Udyr going for a little bit of a strange gank there. Took a tower shot for his troubles. But unless you can trade against the Vladimir really heavily, as Nami stops the Udyr from backing, that's annoying. Unless you can burst down the Vladimir very, very quickly and trade incredibly well. Sorry, there was a train going by. I do live right next to a train station, so occasional background sound will mess up one of my videos from now and then, but I'm sure you guys can deal with it. Unless the Wukong, as I've tried to say 4 times now, unless the Wukong can really trade incredibly well onto the Vladimir's just going to sustain up after those engages. But in middle lane, the Xerath has gotten engaged on. He was silenced. Oh, the knockup does not quite land from Jarvan, but still his presence is enough to force out that flash from Xerath. So that is a summoner spell down, and the Talon is really coming out ahead in this matchup. He's already been back to base to pick up those double longswords, and he has a 10 CS lead, so the fact that Xerath no longer has flash means he has to play incredibly, incredibly safe, because Talon can really take advantage of that lack of mobility which Xerath is going to have now. And up in top lane, Wukong breaking that armor onto Vladimir, but as I said, Vladimir's just going to be able to use his Q to sustain back up from that damage, since Wukong wasn't able to lay down a ton of damage, just a bunch of poke. Really, Vladimir's just going to turn around and he deals some damage back to Wukong, and that damage will stick. Admittedly, Wukong does have some health potions, but he'll run out of those eventually. Vladimir, being a champion who doesn't even use mana, will never run out of his Q. And so, not to mention the fact that Vladimir has already finished off a Hextech Revolver on top of the amount of healing that Transfusion's going to give him. He has that spell vamp. They do interact differently with the spell, but up in top lane, we see that Udyr's trying to go for a gank there. Vladimir forced to flashes down in bottom lane. A very nice hook lands from the Thresh onto Twitch. He's going in. He's trying to bring him down. Nice flay. Max range. Pulls the Twitch back. He gets away, though. Gets invisible just at the end there before Lucian can finish him off. And the exhaust turnaround from Nami is enough to dissuade the Lucian from trying to tower dive that. So, very nicely timed exhaust coming out from the Nami, and really, skin of his teeth escape coming out from that Twitch down there in bottom lane. And returning to top, which I've talked about a few times now, but there's one last thing I'd like to mention. The Wukong has gone with the Chain Vest, which I'm not too sure I like, as down in bottom lane, the Talon is coming in, trying to get the kill here on to the Lucian. He gets hooked right before he can finish him off, and then he goes into the ulti, but the damage is not enough, but Nami there. Hero Nami coming in at the very end there with the auto attack, that little tiny splash of water finishing off the Lucian, who was so low on health, even a sneeze would have knocked him over. So a splash of water proved enough as well, and Nami going to pick up that kill. 3-1 kill lead on the board for purple team, and a small gold lead as well, about 1,000 or so. Up in top lane, Udyr trying to get another gank off, but Vladimir's a very tricky guy to gank. He can just turn into that pool of blood and run away. Also, this Vladimir, actually, sometimes Vladimirs will go Ghost Flash to make themselves even more insanely difficult to shut down in the lane. They just sit in the lane, they farm. They might not kill you too often because of that lack of an Ignite, and they might not have as much map presence because of the lack of a teleport, which this Vladimir has gone with. He's chosen the map presence route. But if they play it correctly, they're nearly impossible to stop from just farming. As Wukong, going in onto the Vladimir, lands his Q crushing blow onto a minion rather than the vampire, though. That's gotta suck, as now Vladimir just gonna push back that wave up onto the Wukong. To his credit, Wukong has managed to stay at a decent creep level comparatively to this Vladimir. Most likely that's due to the fact that he did pick up first blood and so was able to get a XP lead early on and thus get the level lead. As now in middle lane we see that Xerath lands his stun onto a minion. Everybody hitting the minions today. Still trades back fairly well onto the Talon though, despite missing the stun. As now Twitch takes some I don't think he wants to fight right now. There are way too many minions for him to consider fighting, and yeah, he isn't actually going for that fight. It looked like he might be going a bit aggressive with that cask. As now Udyr is getting invaded on by the Jarvan. Jarvan manages to get the Smite Steal onto the Wraith, but now he might be in trouble. Xerath is coming around the corner as the Udyr is chasing him out as well. Xerath misses one, misses two, hits the third, but not gonna be enough. As now Talon going in, uses his ulti as well as his Rake. But Xerath actually popped Barrier at just the right time, so he didn't take very much damage at all. And Talon's now in trouble. Thresh has roamed up. Thresh gets the kill onto Jarvan. And the Xerath finishes off the Talon, but that is just as Udyr falls as well. Udyr was a little bit too low on health to be that close to the engagement, so Talon did manage to turn around and pick up a kill for purple team. They're still ahead in kills, and they're still ahead in gold, but they're not so far ahead that they're going to be crushing unless they can get more of a lead. They need to translate this into towers or dragons or some sort of cross-map global gold lead. But I'll get back to the Wukong's build, which I mentioned right before all that action happened, bot and then mid. He's built a Chain Vest, which I'm really not sure I like. Now, he could have gone aggressive. He could have gone the aggressive route and tried to burst down the Vladimir. I wouldn't have done that myself because Vladimir is very difficult to burst down. As down in bottom lane, Thresh lands a really great death sentence onto the Twitch. Pulls him back and flays him under tower as well. Doesn't quite drop the ulti though. He doesn't have that. Now he flashes in, uses the ulti, drops the exhaust onto the Twitch. Culling come out. Thresh finishes off the kill. Very nice play here. Now Nami forced to flash away. She might escape. She does land the bubble onto both of them, as well as ebb and flow to heal herself up a bit as the hook goes wide to the right. And very nice stun. Max range stun landing from Xerath. He gets some good harass off into that. However, Talon going aggressive instead of trying to run away. Deals some good damage, and I'm sorry about the Jarvan off to the corner there. That is LOL replay being buggy. He's not actually stutter stepping there, however silly that may look. And, yeah. I will get back to... Oh, no, never mind. The Jarvan going in with Cataclysm, trying to bring down this Xerath. Everybody's spending everything they got on this Xerath, and he just keeps getting away with barely any health left. Tosses out the stun, doesn't quite land onto anybody. Eye of the Storm comes out as well, but that... It pokes the Jarvan a little bit, but Udyr's here. Might want to do a little bit more than poke the Jarvan. Nope. He turns, goes back into his jungle. Sees the Talon was still there too. Doesn't want to go for that 2v1 fight. But as I was saying, I don't quite agree with the cloth armor from... Whoa, God! The Xerath is getting engaged on. And he manages to get away with about 10 health left. Could I just talk about this cloth armor? Please, guys, give me just one moment. I think getting Magic Resist would have been the better choice here. That's all I was going to say, because the Vladimir is fairly ahead of him in terms of lead and in terms of CS and in terms of the lane matchup, as we see Udyr finishing off the solo dragon, actually, early on into the game. That gives the gold lead over to blue team. Purple team has had the gold lead for the majority of this game, aside from when Wukong had first blood and nobody else had anything. But that does swing the gold back in favor of blue team, even on kills, but they have the dragons, so they are up by about 1,000 gold here. And, yeah, the Magic Resist, I would have gone with Magic Resist since in this matchup, he's going to be taking a lot of damage from the Vladimir simply because of the nature of the matchup. Not to mention the fact that Vladimir is also pretty much even with him in terms of gold, if not ahead by a good amount. He has a 20 CS lead, so actually he's ahead by quite a good amount, even with him in terms of kills, however. So with that needlessly large rod and the Hextech Revolver, he's going to be able to harass him down really hard. Twitch might be in a bit of trouble here. Does get into his ambush just in time to be able to escape from the Thresh, as Thresh drops down a pink ward and clears out some wards down towards bottom lane. And I'll get into some of the matchups, since I didn't really have time to talk about that earlier on because of all the action that we had early on in this game, but we might have some more action here. Thresh positioning for a hook. Doesn't want to throw it yet, though. Nami gives too much speed buff to that Twitch. He's able to dodge those hooks pretty well, so Thresh not throwing it out quite yet. But I really, really like the matchup between Xerath and Talon, and I don't like it for one of the two specific players. I like it to watch because it's really fun. Xerath is a highly skill-dependent champion with all those skill shots. Is down in bottom lane. The Twitch trying to go in, but maybe he bit off a more than he could chew. The tidal wave coming out. It's not going to be enough disengage, though. The culling going to bring down Twitch as Nami runs away with her fins between her legs. Fins between... I don't know. I don't know where to go with that. But Nami does run away, and Nami does survive. As now the bottom lane going to be pushed in for blue team, as well as the middle lane. So blue team coming back into this game, getting themselves... decent gold lead at this point. They are nearly... No, they're just about 1,500 gold up. But Xerath getting engaged upon. The flag, but not the drag coming out from Jarvan. He didn't have enough mana to do it. He does slow him up with the shield, though, and the continual damage from Talon, despite a very nice sidestep from Xerath to completely avoid that rake, is not going to be enough. He was low enough on health anyways that Talon really only had to keep autoing him, and the rake was just for good measure. So, didn't get the good measure, but he did get the measure. At least. Dragon, not going to be up for a little while yet. Talon does go down there to check that and figures that out. As up in top lane, Vladimir... I mean, the lane was in Wukong's favor for a little while. After he got that first blood, it was in his favor. But now Vladimir has just been Vladimir all over this lane. Finished off a lot of AP. From that, he's getting a bunch of health. And, like, Wukong really can't trade onto him because he's too tanky with that health passive to do so. Jarvan in enemy territory here. Getting hit by those tower shots, gets stunned up by Udyr as he flag and drags away. Doesn't have any more mana to try and escape with. The stun timer resets. Udyr finishes him off with the Phoenix form damage, getting the solo kill for himself. I really have no idea why Jarvan was that deep in enemy territory. I wish that I could go back and check that for you guys. Sadly, I do pre-record the video before I record the audio because my computer is not the greatest, and so I can't record them both at the same time and have really good audio quality for you all. I am getting a new computer tomorrow, though, so tomorrow or the day after. So hopefully all of these issues will be solved. Stick around and stay tuned. Talon dealing some good damage onto Xerath. Xerath deals it back, and that's one of the reasons why I really like that matchup. Because while Talon can do a bunch of burst, if he doesn't bring down the Xerath, while he's running away, he's going to be in a bit of trouble. Speaking of a bit of trouble, Udyr has found him out. However, Talon does a bunch of burst back, goes into his ulti, though, and tries to escape off to the side. Flashes. Xerath ult coming out. Finishes off the kill with the second charge of his ulti. Udyr really in trouble here. Oh my god! How has he not fallen yet? He gets the shield up just in time to not go down to the Dragonlance as the Xerath picks up the double kill onto Jarvan. Now Wukong chasing after the Vladimir, who has roamed down out of top lane. Vladimir goes into Sanguine Pool, drops the Hemoplague onto the Xerath as well. Hemoplague pops, but it doesn't quite do enough damage as now Wukong turns around. Sunfire Cape running. Big stick landing on the back of that Vladimir's head. Wukong gonna pick up that kill. I am really amazed that Udyr did not go down there. He was just running in circles in that Cataclysm for what felt like 3 or 4 solid seconds straight without the Jarvan being able to bring him down. Udyr OP, man. No, not really. But he is strong. He is strong. He has his strengths. And one of those strengths is being deceptively tanky, even in the early game, despite the fact that he hasn't built a tank item yet. He's built movement speed with those Boots of Swiftness, and he's built damage with the Elder Lizard. Thresh going to maybe go for a hook here. Doesn't quite have the direct line that he would like to the enemy AD carry, though. Tosses out the hook, but it's a little bit too short. As now Twitch going into ambush, going up against the enemy team. He's running forward. He doesn't have Nami too close to him, but he doesn't seem to care. The exhaust comes out from Thresh. Box as well. He flashes out of that. Tidal Wave comes across both members of the enemy team. Now Twitch has Ratatat running, firing it off at this Lucian. Expunge comes out for a huge burst of damage as Lucian pops heal to turn back around. The exhaust comes out from Nami. Cully coming out straight into the face of the Twitch as Thresh picks up that kill. Lucian, I don't think that dashing is going to get rid of the poison. So he goes down to the Twitch post-mortem. And now Nami's trying to kill off this Thresh, and I feel really sorry, guys, for that lag spike there, as Udyr comes flying through the wall because of lag and low replay. He runs in the wrong direction, though! Udyr, come on! He does have the Boots 3, though, probably going to be able to catch up to this Nami anyway. Stuns her up with Bear Stance and finishes her off with the fire from Phoenix. So we swap back to the mid lane. Talon going in here, silences the... Oh my god, very nice juking. Puts on the juke boots. Doesn't... He unties them and takes them off for that final skill shot, but he did manage to dodge out the stun as well as the Eye of the Storm. Very nice fancy feet coming out from Talon, but you can't fancy feet a bear. Udyr going in, dealing a bunch of damage. Talon gets invisible, gets that speed buff, runs away, but that is his ulti popped. Thresh hook going wide, as Jarvan now has the red buff on the Thresh. Thresh actually flays him out of that charge of the ultimate from Xerath, but Lucian's around the corner, going to pick up that kill for himself with the Piercing Light, as now Udyr, the Turtle Stamp not quite enough to survive the Hemoplague, as now the Lucian turning and burning onto the Vladimir, who's in a 4v1 situation after finishing off the Udyr. Dove a little bit too deep for that kill, but at least he did pick up the Man-Bear, Turtle-Pig, Cowplane Man. And Thresh and Wukong going to be pushing up the middle lane. This turret's already fairly low because Xerath has managed to push in Talon pretty continually. Talon catching onto Thresh in the jungle. Nami with him as well. Thresh flays them both, but he's probably still... No, he doesn't go down. The dot's not going to be enough. Tosses out the hook. Came back, though. And Twitch was around. Gets the shutdown kill onto Thresh. Wukong's clone deals a little bit of magic damage, but that's not really going to matter. Is Wukong now going to try and escape with that invisibility running? Twitch chasing after him. He goes back in with the dash and the crushing blow, as now Twitch turns around, culling in his face, but he's going to get rid of the culling by just killing the man shooting the bullets. Lucian goes down to the Twitch damage. Twitch now 4-3, starting to come back into his own in this game, though he never really was too far behind as Talon being chased by the Udyr. Udyr has those boots of swiftness, rather, chasing him after him with Bear Stance as well with the speed buff and his passive Monkey's Agility. This Udyr is just fast as all hell. And now the Talon manages to get away with barely any health left. He has the burn ticking. Oh, Wukong coming around to ruin his fun. Brings him down with a big stick to the back of his head. As Xerath and Jarvan in a 1v1 in the jungle, but it's quickly not going to be a 1v1 anymore. Xerath, I would suggest that you leave. He's chasing, though, with the red buff running, but Nami and Twitch are coming around the corner. Twitch coming in with ambush running, going to pop out of that invisibility and do a ton of damage to the Xerath. Lantern's there. Oh, the barrier kept him alive long enough to take the Lantern, but it's not going to matter. The ticking damage from Twitch and the red buff off of Jarvan, going to give the kill over to Jarvan. Very well played by him. He flashes forward, goes in with the Flag and Drag, drops the Cataclysm as well, but that's a lot that he just bit off, and it's more than he can chew. He can't chew that. Jarvan's not good enough to chew that. At least not with that amount of health left. So Yeah, he goes down. His team is a little bit farther behind him than he perhaps would have wanted, and that is another kill going over to, I believe it was Udyr who picked that up, but I don't recall, and I'm probably wrong. Anyway, speaking of Udyr, he flashes forward onto this Vladimir. I don't know if all this aggression is really the best idea against Vladimir. Vladimir's very good at escaping and does some good, decent turnaround damage himself. He drops the Hemoplague, turns around, goes into the Sanguine Pool. The Hemoplague has still not popped, and then it does pop. There goes the Udyr. He goes down. That spirit of the bear floating away from his dead corpse. Thresh has a pink ward, wants to clear out that enemy sight ward. As Talon comes in, they have the pink ward though, so they can see him through the invisibility. He tries to flash over the wall, but doesn't quite make it. He's going to go down, giving Lucian a kill. 3-4 Lucian versus a 5-3 Twitch. So the Twitch is certainly ahead, but Lucian's not down for the count quite yet. He's got some gold in his pockets. He's starting to build that Trinity Force on top of the BF sword that he has, so he's going to do some good work. Speaking of Trinity Force, looks like that's what Udyr is going to be going for as well. He's got a Zeal, he's got a Phage. I mean, I don't really see what else he can build out of those two items. I suppose he could be doing some strange build where he only builds a Phage and then turns the Zeal into like a Phantom Dancer or something, but I highly doubt that. Anyways, speaking of builds, Xerath has also finished off at Liandry's, which I actually do rather like that pickup. Against the Vladimir, that's going to help because Vladimir gains a lot of health from his passive, which, for those of you who don't know, he gets AP from building health and health from building AP, a percentage of both. However, they do not interstack. The health that you gain from building AP does not then give you AP, which then gives you health ad infinitum. The Riot Games did see that that could potentially be a problem. They don't want someone having infinite health and AP. Because, well, actually, I don't know if it would be infinite. I'm no mathematician, or a mathematics. That's not even a thing you can be, but I'm not one. Twitch now invisible in the enemy lane, trying to get some good damage onto the Xerath. Brings him down fairly low, has 5 stacks of the poison taking as well, so that's going to be a lot of damage going down onto Xerath, pretty much for free. No summoners or large cooldowns burned. And red team going to push up the middle lane. Another auto attack onto Xerath. The Expunge goes out as well. Xerath taking a lot of poke, as now Wukong might be in trouble. Gets hit up by the rake, slowed by that. Nami there as well. He goes into the ulti though, and he's so tanky. This Wukong has a Sunfire Cape and a Giant's Belt on top of that. Thresh going in with a nice hook and then a fillet to finish off the Nami. As now turnaround kills are coming out. Jarvan finally brings down the Monkey King. Udyr's here brings down the Jarvan in return though, as Vladimir has shown up out of top lane. He's doing a lot of damage. He gets the kill onto Udyr as the Talon finishes off Thresh. And that is overall a 2 for 3 in favor of Purple Team. Twitch trying to get a kill off here, but it doesn't matter. These invisible towers have true sight, man. But doesn't matter. The enemy team doesn't have quite enough damage. Oh my god. That was very close, Twitch. You gotta be careful, man. Xerath has a lot of range and a lot of damage too. I mean, he's not going for too heavy of a damage build here. He's going for more of a tank crushing build, as I was talking about with the Vladimir earlier, as well as the Jarvan, who's building tankier items now as well. So with that Liandry's, he's going, I mean, not Liandry's, yes, that's Liandry's. I always get the names Liandry's and Rylai's mixed up because they both give health and AP, and for some reason the two names get swapped in my head. But I psyched myself out there. It is, in fact, a Liandry's and not a Rylai's. This Xerath is going for an incredibly defensive build. He's just now picked up a Spectre's Cowl as well. He's looking to just sit on the back lines and throw out Qs as often as possible and poke down the enemy rather than burst them down with a big combo. Now, I can see the merit in it, especially considering the enemy team has a Talon, and picking up all this tankiness has probably saved his life already on a few occasions. However, the problem is, the Lucian isn't really hyper-carrying, and he's building a Triforce, which means his power spike will be delayed till later. But Talon, going in onto the Wukong, this is a 1v1 duel for the ages. The Talon goes into his ulti to try and avoid this, but it's no longer a 1v1 duel. Thresh has shown up as well, and Wukong going to finish off that kill. But as I was saying, Lucian is building a Trinity Force, so his power spike is delayed a little bit here, but the Xerath has found the Nami, but his defensive build means that he doesn't have quite enough burst to bring her down. She's only at half health, as now Vladimir trying to chase after the Xerath, but doesn't want to keep going with that. So he'll be able to just get away clean. And blue team's going to be pushing up into the top turret here. Nice stun, lands over the wall from Xerath. Hook to follow up right there. The CC's about to end up CC chaining very well. But the Lucian has a Hemoplague running, and the Vladimir just does too much damage. Flashes over the wall just as Wukong tries to chase after him, so they basically swap places. But thankfully Thresh is around to throw out another death sentence. He CCs up that Vladimir, tosses out the Mikhails onto Wukong as well when Vladimir tries to turn around for the kill. This Thresh doing tons of work here, as now Talon showed up trying to clean up this fight, but he gets stunned up by the Xerath. He's forced to run away during his ulti. The Xerath's going to flash after him. Talon flashes away, and if he can get far enough away, all the minions are going to stop him from getting his Boots of Mobility passive procs, but he does have Cutthroat to jump to the back line of the minions, and so if he can gain a bit more distance here, he could allow that Boots 5. The Boots 5 passive has indeed activated. Oh, but Thresh doing even more work, making even more plays, flashing forward, tossing out the hook, securing the kill for Wukong onto that Talon. Very well played by Thresh in that whole skirmish throughout that entire fight, as now Lucian has found Jarvan, doing a bit of damage to him, but Jarvan's kind of tanky, and Lucian's too mobile for Jarvan to chase, so they both simply leave each other alone and head off in opposite directions down the middle lane. While I have some quiet, in the battlefield at least, I will talk about the builds. Specifically, Udyr's build. Normally you'll see an Udyr build one damage item, like an Elder Lizard, or perhaps a Blade of the Ruined King if it's a lane Udyr, or even a Trinity Force, and then go into tankiness. This Udyr says, no, I want 2 damage items, and then tiny little tank items. I'm presuming he's going to turn the Cloth Armor and Ruby Crystal into other items. He's probably not going to just sit on them, but my point remains. Anyways, down in the bottom lane, the Talon going in aggressively with Cutthroat onto this Lucian, and it is the age-old story of any Talon versus any AD carry who isn't insanely fed. The Talon wins the fight. However, Wukong, Udyr, and Thresh are all looping around down here through the Tribush from the river. Nami has joined the Talon, but I really don't think those two are a match for the enemy 3, as Xerath is joining this fight as well, tossing down his ulti, dealing some good damage to the Talon, who then gets finished off by the Udyr. Now Nami is all alone. She's gonna be fish food, quite literally. Udyr picking up that kill. Double kill for Udyr down in the bottom lane, and his damage build, to be fair, seems to be working out for him. He's able to finish off these kills pretty effectively, and once they do get onto this tower, he's gonna melt that thing. Looks like they don't even want to wait for minions. He goes in with Tiger Stance, then Turtle Stances to save up health against some of those turret shots that are beating down on him. And to be fair, he doesn't have to build super tanky since the Wukong is doing that. The Wukong has a Randuin's Omen, a Sunfire Cape, and I'm sorry that the champions moved around down there on the scoreboard. I had to re-record this latter half of the game, and I forgot to move them into their appropriate positions. Anyway, Twitch going in. He has Ratatat running. He's doing a ton of damage to this Lucian. Lucian flashes away, but Ratatat is just too long range, and Nuggery picks up that kill for himself in the middle lane. However, Thresh has circled around behind him, and Thresh has backup incoming. He flashes the hook, flashes down, though, rather than forwards, and so he seals his own doom anyways. He is invisible, but the shutdown gold going over to Wukong. As now Nami is doing some strange movements. I'm pretty sure she might have disconnected there, but Wukong picking up the kill anyways. And now Hemoplague's running on 3 members of the enemy team, though. The Nami baits are real. Vladimir picking up that kill. Now Xerath going down. Vladimir getting the double kill here so far. Udyr in trouble. He forced to flash away because he's so squishy with that damage build that he cannot stick around and sustain this skirmish. And that is, I believe, an even trade in terms of kills across the board for both teams. Cullen coming out onto the back of this vampire. He turns around, though, with Jarvan, and they just have way too much damage and tankiness between the two of them. Lucian falls nearly instantly, and now Wukong, he's not falling quite as quickly because he's very, very tanky, but not really accomplishing very much either, as Udyr becomes the focus fire target. Morpheus 1 on a rampage now on that. Vladimir picks up the double kill as well into Wukong. Took him a little while because that monkey had so much health, but the Vladimir had so much damage, and now Xerath forced to use his ulti just to clear out the minions, as Thresh lands a very nice death sentence onto Vladimir, but he doesn't quite have the damage to bring them down, being a support. Tosses back the Lantern for the Xerath to take Xerath now, tossing out the stun onto Jarvan as he comes in with the Flag and Drag onto the tower. Jarvan takes a few tower hits, the Q comes out as well from Xerath, but they're just so tanky. And Acreman up in the top lane. Archerman up in the top lane. My apologies. Takes out a turret as now Vladimir in trouble once again. He turns around. He has Hemoplague back up. He drops it onto Xerath and the Lucian. They both take a whole bunch of damage. They're both low half health. However, the Vladimir looks to be in trouble as well. The Thresh flays him out of the Eye of the Storm and the stun, but still, Xerath just has too much damage despite the anti-synergy going on there between the support and the mid laner. Vladimir still goes down, is now down in bottom lane. Wukong not really has a huge damage build, so he's not bursting this Twitch down very quickly, but the Twitch certainly can't go into 1v1, but it's no longer a 1v1. Jarvan is here. Jarvan's doing some work. Twitch kiting back away from that Cyclone, manages not to get knocked up at all, and the Ignite is not enough to bring him down. Very well kited from the Twitch. As Purple Team takes even more of a gold lead for themselves on the board here. Though to be fair, they are behind in kills. That's not too big a deal when you're ahead in gold overall, so looking to extend that gold lead even more. They're going for the Dragon, but Twitch and Jarvan are both low, and Jarvan has no mana, so if Thresh can force a fight here, it might actually turn out well for Blue Team. He does drop the box onto Talon. Talon standing around in the middle of it, doesn't want to break any of the walls, goes into his ulti for the invisibility, and then turns on to the Lucian, who's shown up and is throwing out the calling. Now Xerath is here. The Thresh does go down in the end to the dot from Talon. However, Talon goes down to the Xerath, who showed up just in time to join the fight, and then Vladimir flashing over from the side. And now the Jarvan going down to Udyr, who came in from the middle lane. Vladimir now in trouble, takes some damage from the Xerath, getting focused by the Udyr as well. Udyr turns and trades his focus onto the Twitch, and he does bring him down in the end. The dot damage from Tiger Stance, as well as, I believe, a red buff being enough to bring down the Twitch, even post-mortem for the Udyr. But that was a close one, and it didn't need to be that close. If he had just kept on focusing the Vladimir with the Xerath, they might have been able to take him down, though, to be fair, that Twitch is rocking a bunch of damage right now, so Udyr might have just gone down to his damage as well. It was really a no-win situation for Udyr in that case, and he did come out with a 1-for-1 trade, so not as terrible as it really could have been. Though, in actuality, I believe overall it was a 3-for-3 trade, though I'm, again, not entirely sure. I apologize. Anyways, we return to Vladimir farming his camps, and we return to talking about the builds. Udyr, finally choosing to spec into some tankiness with his build, has built a Spirit Visage. Now that works quite well with Udyr, especially if he chooses to build a lifesteal item, but even without it, the cooldown reduction and the magic resist will both help him a ton. The magic resist especially against this Vladimir, who's going 11-4 right now. Finished off a Death Cap, a Zhonya's, and a Rylai's Crystal Scepter. And there's Nami. Thankfully she came back in time to join us for the fight once again. Always disappointing when a player disconnects, as now Jarvan does have the Banshee's Veil, so the hook fizzles, but Udyr's around on the side to stun him up. He goes back in with the Cataclysm, but that's just gonna really seal his own fate there. I mean, not really a 1v1 duel when you jump in on 5 members of the enemy team. However, the Vladimir going in with Hemoplague and Sanguine Pool, trying to do the best work that he can as Talon comes in to try and assassinate the Xerath towards the backline. He does get some good damage down onto Lucian. Vladimir still alive. The tankiness and sustain is just too much. It goes into Sanguine Pool as soon as the Zhonya's wears off. And that is a triple kill, quadra kill for Twitch. Coming up big here. Can he get the Penta? Can he get it? He slows down the Xerath and the Expunge. Gonna be exploding that Xerath and giving the pentakill with the awesome new visuals over to the Twitch. Well played by Nuggery. And he did say in the email that it was going to be an epic to-watch game or something along those lines, so I guess perhaps that was what he was referring to. As now the middle lane turret is under fire, Nuggery brings that down. First inhibitor turret of the game to fall, and most likely the first inhibitor as well. This Twitch is doing quite a bit of damage. And the Vladimir's throwing in those little blops of blood as well. Blops is now a word. It's officially a small amount of blood. It's a medical term. You can go look it up in the dictionary, and if it's not there, that dictionary is wrong. Anyways, moving on to back to the casting, back to the game, back to the builds. Talon going for massive armor penetration. Normally you'll see a Talon build a Youmuu's Ghostblade and a Last Whisper, or a Black Cleaver and a Last Whisper. Not Black Cleaver, Youmuu's, and Last Whisper. This guy does not want the enemy team to have armor. He sees that armor and he just goes, I don't like it. I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna get rid of that armor. So he has built specifically to do that, and it's working out for him pretty well. I mean, he's 5-8, so his KDA isn't the greatest, but he does have 14 assists. So really his KDA is pretty good. His KD isn't good. Which is weird. Usually Talon's the one who wants to be picking up the kills and not the assists, so he wants the Ks but not the As. But assists are still gold, and assists are still participation. So he's still going to be useful in these team fights, especially with the fact that his ult, along with the Black Cleaver, is going to be breaking everybody's armor. However, Wukong going in with the ulti, running that Cyclone, knocking up 2 members of the enemy team, as now Purple Team, and caught out a little bit, but this Twitch is just doing so much damage. He's dominating. He gets another kill. That's a double kill. Can he get the other Penta? He's going after Udyr. This will be the triple if he brings him down. However, Nami is in trouble. Nami maybe going to fall here. Nami does go down, I believe. Triple kill going over to the Twitch, though, in the end. Nami did not go down. Oh my god, she nearly got down. Everybody keeps escaping with like 10 health here. They're making me liars. I swear they do it on purpose. But the Talon going to be stealing away the blue buff that Oh my god, does he go down? Oh, he brings it down just before going down to the blue buff. That would have been a little bit humiliating, but now Jarvan and the Twitch going after the top lane turret. I don't really see any way that the blue team can defend this. Oh my lord, that damage from Vladimir is just... Oh, well, pardon me if I say it, but it's bloody good. I apologize. I really do, but I couldn't resist. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. I'm sure you all agree. As now Vladimir being chased by 3 members of the enemy team, but that might not have been the best choice as both Nexus turrets are falling. Twitch taking one, Jarvan taking the other. And blue team might be able to pull out some sort of miracle team fight here. If they don't manage to defend right now, they will lose the game. Nuguri is legendary. Vladimir picks up another kill onto the Udyr, and he just won't go down. He's at half health all the time. They managed to bring him down to there, and they can't bring him down any further, and that is GG going over to purple team. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good one. Oh, and if you want your replay to be featured on this series, just check the description, and you can figure out how to do that down there. Have a good one.